Hey guys, so I wanted to share a little bit of my story up till today in my life. I've been watching a lot of different videos on YouTube and people sharing stuff over the years, and I wanted to be that. I wanted to have my own thing, wanted to have my own brand. And my dream, I'll go ahead and be straight up honest with you. I want to be a 3D modeler. I want to work for a game studio or start my own game publishing asset company, etc., what have you. I had been trying to push for that for 10, 15 years. It's not worked. So I thought in the last ditch effort tonight I'd go ahead and share some down-to-earth, honest truth with you. Hopefully this resonates with someone, and maybe they can, gives you motivation to go pursue your own thing. But I have a dream, right? And for the life of me, I just can't put it down. I think you can kind of relate with me on there, right? Everyone has their dream. Everyone has something they want to pursue. And I realize that's kind of the hashtag social media content creator sort of vibe nowadays, and it's a pipe dream, right? It's the select few that know how to get the algorithms to work for you. You got it. You got it down pat. You've got it laid with suede. You've got it. You're set, right? You did something right. You hit the virtual jackpot, and you've got subscribers. And now you're trying to figure out how to, edit your content en masse, and you can start delegating out the work to you, and you can, work less hours. So here's a little bit of my backstory. I grew up in a pastor's home. Nothing special. But it was true. It was from a great family. I love my family. I was kind of an antisocial my whole life, and so I developed an affinity for computers. Started dabbling in Linux for a bit. I discovered at that juncture the 3D open source application Blender 2.49 was the version, I believe, back then. And so I opened it up, and I must have had to shut the program down 15 or 16 times just because I started dabbling and I couldn't figure out how to get the format back correctly. So, dabbling with different Linux operating systems. I had customized my own kernel at one point using Gentoo, following tutorials that I printed out myself on the paper, printer paper, and it was fun. I enjoyed it, but it never amounted to anything. There was an opportunity to pursue a A+, certification from my school, but they had warned me, I cannot pursue that unless I know I'm going to pass. And I just didn't have the confidence to do it. And so I did not pursue that route. They would have paid for it for me. That would have been back in 2004. I would have gotten A+ certified. I could have pursued other CompTIA certifications, Net Plus, maybe Microsoft Plus, Linux Plus, those things that you need to become, an IT help desk, maybe even go into IT. So later on, I worked jobs. I eventually joined Youth with a Mission, YWAM. It's a non-centralized missionary organization. It's international. Actually went to China. was cool. Then I came back, and it was normal life again. I had to find a job. I was in that organization for 5 years. During that time, I had accumulated some credits that I could transfer into a college that was nationally accredited. I got my bachelor's degree, but it was in one of those unknown degrees that no one knows about, or that you can't do anything with. I apologize, because it was in biblical studies, and it's really helpful to have some of that knowledge in the background, and I really enjoyed the discussions and the writing and the research and studying that went into learning about who God is, what He said, and how that impacts our lives as evangelical Christians, right? But at the end of the day, I didn't feel called into the ministry, and so that's one of the few things that you can do with a biblical studies undergrad degree, right? Now, granted, I could go pursue a master's degree, more research level stuff, but that's another 2 or 3 years for a graduate level program, right? Not to mention, they don't take non-regionally accredited degrees, so I'd have to start over. I looked into it. It was possible, but hard work. And so I thought, well, I'll pursue the 3D modeling art, the artist direction, right? I thought it's going to be rough, but people are doing it. I'll get my portfolio built. I decided, you know what, I need to get a little bit more standardized. So I went and I found an industry recognized 3D modeling program, and I pursued that for a year, and I add some projects to my portfolio that I had done there. I had used Autodesk Maya 3D in the past, but this introduced me to the recent update to the software. I'll be honest, I still preferred Blender, but there was a transition going from Blender 2.79 to 2.8. If you're familiar with Blender at all, you know what I'm talking about. It was rough, because I had grown up with early Blender, and so the shift, everything was different. They had moved all kinds of stuff around. There was no more layers, it was collections. So I thought, well, I'm actually, getting comfortable with Maya, but everything good comes to an end. My free subscription to Maya 3D ended because I was a student, and you get access to a student license. I've actually been told to go ahead and get the pirated version of Maya just to keep using it, which I didn't like anyway. So I thought, well, why not just keep using Blender? And so I've tried making stuff. Nothing seems to be pushing through. I'm not good at marketing or sales. I don't like pushing people into things. I want people to go, search for something that they want to buy themselves. But when I try to submit assets, game-ready assets on the asset store, there's a lot of hoops to run through. And yeah, I guess I'm throwing. What's the word we're talking about here? I can't think of the word. I'm throwing complaints. Things hurdles that every person has to go through to be successful. But I can't seem to let go of this dream. I want to work in the game development community. I don't like horror. I don't want to do that stuff. I don't want to do sexual content, but I want to work on games. For a while there, I wanted to work on video, film content, VFX stuff in the Hollywood industry, but then I realized game content's a little bit easier because it doesn't have to show up at 4K in front of people's faces. It doesn't have to be picture perfect. You can, you know, you can slide through a little bit, and you can sort of add post-processing to games, but the detail doesn't have to be as high. And so when I discovered the Unity game engine, which isn't what my school went through, I wanted to pursue that more. I just can't seem to get my foot in the door, and so now I'm 38 years old, thinking about going back to school, but the field that I really want to get into, it's really about networking and who you know, and the school that I went to didn't want to give me those kinds of connections. Not because they didn't like me, but I kind of feel like under the table hush hush. I didn't like the standardized software they used, and I get it. A lot of the 3D studio pipelines do have to use Maya, Autodesk Maya, because of contracts they have with Autodesk. I don't know, or the artists are just accustomed to using it. But I mean, the fact of the matter is, the Blender Foundation has done an incredible job with transforming that software into something that's standardized, with the exception of the Z-Up instead of Y-Up. For the life of me, I don't know what the founder was thinking with that, right? But aside from that, Blender's really solid now. And I mean, when I was using Maya, it was crashing just as much as Blender did. So, I don't know, guys. If you've gotten into the industry, I'd love to see your comments on what it took, what you did. Maybe you're in my boat, and you're still looking for, you know, that route into your dream. Or maybe your dream is something else. But, you know, if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life. Right? That doesn't mean it's not work. I mean, there's still effort you put in, and it's still rough, and things don't always go perfectly, and you have to go back and review things and check things over or redo things, right? But if it's your dream, you do it because, you know, the extra checks, the extra little bit of time, it's okay because you ultimately love it, right? So trying out YouTube here, you know, a lot of YouTubers, they're very transparent about just, you know, I want to get views, right? But I think it's important to be transparent with people, right? I'm trying this out. I'm trying to see if I can get some subscribers, maybe get some affiliation with other YouTube channels. I'd like to build some kind of a brand to where I could connect with other people, generating my own content, preferably be able to, you know, talk on opinions that are interesting to me, collaborate with other content creators, but that's the dream. It's 2025. Half the world is, you know, living on the internet. This should be a viable possibility at this point, but I just fail to achieve the correct formula to be successful here. So, yeah, I mean, it's kind of a rant. I mean, it's been rough, you know. Right now, I just work in a warehouse, trying to get something going on my time off, but it sucks, you know. There was a point where I was cool at the warehouse because it was physical labor and it was good, but as I get older, I realize it's not my dream. It's never been my dream to, you know, work with the blue collar, you know, on my back, the steel toe shoes. You know what I mean? Pushing boxes, lifting pallets. Maybe you're allowed to drive forklifts. It's blue collar stuff, and you know we could do it. You know, a lot of us guys, we have the strength to go and do that every day, but it does wear on your body over time. And at 38, I'm now starting to notice it. But I'm fairly technologically, aware, and I'm aware of, SEO and the algorithms that push this thing out in front of other people, and this thing is doable. You got to relate with other people, and I don't know. I might make more videos like this, see what people think, but I just wanted to be transparent and see what other people's take on this is, and see what kind of comments come up. Alright guys, have a good day.